Welcome to the grid. This grid speaks, and today we reveal its full message. But before we get into that, let's pull a familiar to guide the tone of this weekly culmination reading. So first of all, we pull a familiar type. They're all stuck together. There we go. Okay, so some fox energy. Lovely summer fox. So the summer fox is stepping in to guide this culmination reading for the week, and this familiar carries warmth, adaptability and ease. Summer fox energy moves lightly but confidently. It knows how to adjust without losing momentum. We use numerology to decode the messages in the grid, and numerology works by assigning a number to each letter of the alphabet, like in this chart here, and then each number also has a meaning. Now, if you'd like to explore your own words, there's a word numerology calculator linked in the description, and that's completely free to use, and you can just type in any word and it'll tell you the numerology of it. Okay, so let's see which is the first word, because we've got a few left to find on this grid. But the one I saw was rebirth. And rebirth isn't about starting over from nothing. It's about stepping forward, changed, carrying what has been learned into a new phase. And when we translate numerology, rebirth through numerology, it reduces to a number 8. And 8 carries themes of power, integration and embodied authority, energy that has found its footing. We always divide the grid like so into 9 boxes, and you can see rebirth is spanning a few boxes, but it's mostly sitting in box 5. And box 5 is the position of flow, movement and natural change. This tells us that today's rebirth is not forced or sudden, it's already in motion. Okay, there's a few more words to find. And the next one that I saw, cheerful. And cheerful reduces to a number 6. And it's sitting here in box 3, the position of expression and communication. And this suggests lightness returning through interaction, easing conversation, shared moments and simple exchanges. So the final word to find in this week's grid is light. And light reduces to the must number 11. And here it's appearing in box 9. And that's the position of completion and wider perspective. Here, light doesn't mean brightness alone, it speaks to clarity, seeing what this cycle has been shaping. With the summer fox guiding today's reading, rebirth becomes something you can inhabit gently. Rebirth, as an 8 in box 5, shows that change is already underway, grounded, steady and lived. Cheerful in box 3 brings ease back into connection, and light in box 9 tells us that understanding has arrived. This week hasn't asked for effort, it's asked for presence, and now something new begins, not with pressure but with clarity. And now this grid is spent, we can look back and see the wider pattern it's been forming. This week carried an unusual concentration of master numbers, 4 in total appeared across the grid. Practical, water, healing, and light. Master numbers don't indicate intensity for its own sake. They point to awareness that asks to be held rather than resolved. What's striking here is not just their presence, but their progression. The week opened with practical, insight looking for application. It deepened through water. Emotional and intuitive awareness gaining structure. It then moved into healing, not as repair but as integration, held carefully rather than rushed. And it completes with light, clarity, perspective and understanding arriving at the end of the cycle. Taken together, this sequence doesn't describe change happening to you. It describes awareness becoming embodied. This week wasn't about action. It was about learning how to stay present with insight as it moved through different forms. If this week felt weighty, that's not a mistake. Master number weeks ask for attention, not urgency. Nothing needed to be fixed. Something needed to be recognised. And with this grid spent and the message released, what remains is simply recognition. Tomorrow we return with a whole new grid. Until then, decode, discover, divine.